Heyo everybody, Haku here with HaQ&A number like 57 or something. I think it's 57. So yeah, gonna be talking about some stuff from comments. Now, there are a lot of things that were like pretty general. A bunch of people said sort of similar things. We discussed some things, so I'm just gonna when I get to them, outline them, kind of discuss them as like a bullet point thing, not really in direct response to any one particular comment. So just warn you, when we get to those, it'll be like that. And also, if you're not interested in any of these 4 series, I'm pretty sure the only 4 series we're really covering here are Magical Girl Raising Project, Boku no Hero Academia, One Piece, and Tower of God. So, yeah, just throwing that one out there. Also, I think this one would be kind of short. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can never really tell. Sometimes I'm like, it seems like it'll be a bit short, and we end up talking for an hour. So let's just start talking about stuff. Really, it was a pretty great week for comments. Even though I say the video is going to be kind of short, we got a lot of discussion, especially for Magical Girl Raising Project. I am loving that series so much. Just very, very excited for that series, more than most others right now. Also, I will say that this week I started watching Shingeki no Bahamut, and it is great. I have fallen in love with it. I think I haven't even finished the first season, but it is already becoming one of my favorite anime. But yeah, I was trying to watch the first season so I can catch up on the second, on my path to catching up with everything I wanted to watch this season. Also, I did catch up to Frame Arms Girl. I can never tell which words in that title is plural. I think the only plural one is Arms, Frame Arms Girl. So, yeah, that show I also love as well. Like I said before, it's like Toy Story, but with panty shots and stuff. It's really great. Yeah, also next season there are at least probably 9 shows or so that I want to watch, but I'm I don't know which ones will be good for the channel or anything like that. So it may be a little early to ask this, I guess, but at least for next season, if there's anything you want me to watch, or anything you want me to cover on the channel week to week, because I'm going to be watching a ton. Anything you want me to watch, I guess, too, because most of the stuff I watch, if it's something I really want to talk about, I'm going to make a full series review or discussion on it. But if you want me to cover anything week to week, as for right now, I'm planning on only adding Centaur no Nayami, because we're already going to be covering One Piece, we're already going to be covering Boku no Hero Academia, which is going to extend into the next season, and we're probably going to be watching Fear the Walking Dead. Just because I want to. We'll see how that one goes, though. But yeah, if I'm doing all 3 of those shows, I'm thinking of only adding one more, and I really want to cover Centaur no Nayami week to week. So those would be the 4, and if you guys want me to cover anything week to week other than those, just tell me about it, let me know, and I'll maybe consider it. But I don't know. I can't really cover any more shows than that, other than maybe 1 or 2 more, but even then it would be pretty time consuming. So yeah, either way. Also, tons of people after I brought it up last week, or last HaQ&A, said that they'd be interested in the Discord, so I think sometime this weekend I might try to figure out how that works and set it up. Maybe, if I can figure it out. And that also would bring me into, yeah, if I can't figure it out this weekend or don't have time this weekend, I'll do it sometime next week. So it'll be soon. I'll try to set that up, because it's something that I'm really interested in as well. Just because it'd be fun to talk to you all in that sort of setting. If Discord is pretty much like what I imagine it to be, then I think that would be really fun. Also, it was brought up, the Tower of God one and the Magical Girl Raising Project one. For the Tower of God Discord, I don't go there. I have talked to a few of you that go there pretty often, and we've discussed some things that were talked about there, but I don't go there just because of potential spoilers and stuff for the stuff that was, well, I guess actually spoiled technically, since it isn't officially released yet. So yeah, also for Magical Girl Raising Projects, I will join it eventually, but maybe not until I'm a bit later in the story. I don't know. I don't know when I'll join it, but I will, and it'll be eventually, but not today, not tomorrow, someday. Also, a couple of you were surprised at me not liking ReZero. I mean, I was pretty surprised at me not liking it, so I understand the sentiment. But yeah, I'm going to give it another chance eventually, because I feel like I really hated it and thought it was pretty painful to sit through. But the thing is, I could have just been maybe not in the mood for its particular pacing at that time, or its particular style. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for what it had specifically, but maybe I will be in the mood for that at some other time. Like, I really didn't like it, but I didn't think it was bad. Like, there's a huge difference there, where there are things that I like that aren't very good. There are things that I like that I also consider good. ReZero I didn't really like, but I considered it good. And there are very, very few things that I think are objectively bad, and of those very few things, there are still even fewer that I dislike. I think the only series that comes to mind that I both think was bad and also do not like is Sword Art Online. That's the only series that I can think of. Also, I wanted to read, what's the series called? Like, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon or something like that? I wanted to watch that, but everybody keeps saying it's like Sword Art Online with bigger boobs, and I'm like, oh, that comparison makes me not want to watch it. Also, the title, I'm like, I like the general idea of the series and the character art I've seen, but I just, that entire, the name, the idea of it, it kind of worries me that it would be like Sword Art Online and all the bad generic things that everyone knows are bad about it. But yeah, I guess that's it for just some general discussion, and we'll start moving into the discussion of the 4 things that I was talking about before. So first up, let's talk about One Piece, simply because the other 3 have a few comments, but this one only has one. And the comment for this week's One Piece section is Seek210 saying, I like this episode a lot as well, about the anime episode, and the comedy was on point. I thought it was pretty funny how Pudding was blushing the whole time when she was talking about Sanji, and how the whole crew were shocked that somebody like Sanji and got turned down. I hope they keep this pacing up for the coming episodes, and I agree, Carrot is becoming a great waifu. Die, waifu-san. But, I always thought, that aside, I always thought when reading the manga and watching the anime that Wanda was going to be the one going with them to Wholecake Island. Now, I thought Zoe was going to take a little bit of a different turn. I thought it was going to turn out that Wanda was, me personally, I thought Wanda was going to turn out to be Inuarashi's daughter and be like the princess of the place or something. I didn't think she was going to travel with them though. I saw that being Carrot. I was more surprised at Pedro. I saw Pedro being important, but Pedro was a little bit predictable as the one traveling with him as well, but I really thought it was going to be Carrot, just because Oda kept dropping little hints here and there. The fact that she was one of the stronger fighters amongst the Minks, her introduction with Zoro there, her relationship building with Luffy, her saying that an adventure sounded fun. There were just some little hints dropped that got me thinking about that. But talking about that anime episode, the pacing and comedy were really, really great. And I think if they can pace out the episodes like that, because that I'm pretty sure was only one manga chapter adapted into one episode, and it was paced really, really well. So if they can pace the rest like that, we shouldn't have to worry about catching up to the manga, and the episodes can still be great. I'm sure there are going to be bad episodes. Like, even great shows have a couple bad episodes. There are very, very few shows, and I can't think of any off the top of my head that had 0 bad episodes. I think in general most of the arc will be good, but especially with something like One Piece. One Piece has going on 800 episodes. When you have nearly 800 episodes, the amount of bad ones is going to be higher just because of proportions and all that. So yeah, I think it'll be good though. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I guess that's it for One Piece this week. Next up, we got good old Tower of God. Starting off our Tower of God section is Lord Asriel, who said, hope you'll be better soon. Don't do us a CU. Seriously, he should take a break, and you too if you feel the need to. Heljo seems to be becoming the center of attention now. Love how Garam and Yuri started to interact. It gives a cool feeling for what will follow. Hopefully it will be good and fun. Yuri seems to be kind of parodic character now with the hangover thing you mentioned. And Mazano is coming so hype. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, both for the comment and the concern. I'm all good now. It was just Monday morning when I recorded that video. Monday morning I woke up like, I don't know if it was food poisoning, something I hate, but I was like coughing a ton and really nauseous and dry heaving. I have no clue. Just Monday morning wasn't a good morning for me. Also, chapter, I do love it because it was really good at building the story up and transitioning and explaining to us some things like the what Kun was thinking with Rian and everything. It was a really good setup chapter. Like, not a ton actually happened, like I said in the review, in the grand scheme of things, but we need chapters like this. Like, we need them pretty badly for a good story because it gives us transition into the future events. So, yeah, I didn't think that there was anything really wrong. I gave a great score to it as well. I thought it was a really good chapter for what it was. Anime Watcher said, I was certainly not expecting Madarako to show up this chapter, let alone this entire arc. I didn't know that he had enough influence to his own army. Makes me want to learn more about tower politics more and more. Can we just petition CU to release a spin-off of several mini-stories releasing background info about the tower? It lets you think about how many cards CU still has in his hands, despite his wrist having a serious medical condition that could have a negative impact on the whole series. And I will say the same. I kind of thought that after Madarako got cock-blocked by Pobedao Gusting, that was kind of the last we'd see of him. He seemed just like some sort of underworld workshop / FUG crony, and really he didn't even seem that important to FUG. He wasn't a slayer or anything, he just seemed like he was kind of there. So I'm really surprised he even has the Thorn Fragment. I didn't think he'd be that important at all. Also, I really worry about CU's wrist a lot. Like, pretty often, and I think I've actually said this multiple times again and again before, so I run the risk of repeating myself here, but I think he needs to change his schedule to be somewhat like what Oda does, where, say, he just takes a week off once every 2 months or something. So, like, we would have a week off and then 5 to 8 chapters, a week off, 5 to 8 chapters. I think that'd be fine. I mean, the week off here and there wouldn't be that bad to wait. And I think a week off between every 5 to 8 chapters would be good, really good, if it reduced the risk of him having serious problems later on from overworking. Because, I mean, if he does a chapter every single week now and overworks and really messes up his wrist, then, I mean, what does that mean for the late series? Is he just going to have to, like, cancel it or give up or hand it over to somebody else? Like, I think I would be much more happy with him taking breaks here and there and not having to worry about his wrist getting worse than him just plowing through here and taking that kind of chance. But either way, that's just my thoughts on it. Joe K said, I always look forward to these videos, great job. Some points in your video, I agree that Yuri and Evan should leave Bomb and company to their own devices for a while after this arc, but I hope the one who addresses it is Yurik. Maybe say something inspiring to the boy, something like that. Yurik could also take Yuri and Evan to the 77th floor to just chill and watch Bomb as he climbs the tower. Thank you so much, of course, to begin with, but also I actually really like that idea about Evan and Yuri going with Mazano to watch them climb the tower from there. That would really work. It would bring them in closer with Wall Hikesong, especially if, like I was saying, if at the end of this arc Yurik somehow captures Helljo and wants to bring him back and imprison him there or something, that could be really, really cool. And I think, especially, like you said, if Mazano brings it up, it would make total sense. Because Mazano could be like, when I was climbing the tower, I met my best friend Baek-ryun, and I left Baek-ryun to climb the tower on my own, and then I returned to him, and Bomb should do the same and climb the tower to grow on his own, and then return to Yuri and Evan later. So I think that would be really cool if Mazano sort of told them and kind of compared it to his own story. He was like, okay, you don't need a ranker to climb with you. You and your friends, this is something that you guys need to do, and you can come back to your ranker friends later. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Then Fancy Grain said, great video, but I've waited too long to see Yuri. She needs to stick around. Hopefully we get the princesses arc next and get some Kun backstory about the princesses he chose over his sister. Now this is important. I was going to say I really would like if Yuri and Evan just sort of distanced themselves from Bomb for a while, but I kind of almost forgot that Yuri does have that other storyline going on. She has this bet going on with Machete, but then again, she can still have that going on and separate from Bomb, because the bet really doesn't have much to do with Yuri and Machete other than who is giving up their 13-month if they lose, but it's more having to do with Anak and Andrasi versus Lilial, Shilial, and Maria. And I think it'd be interesting if Kaiser came back whenever we do get into this storyline, just because of the connection to Lilial and Shilial and all that, and because she was supposed to be a princess and everything. I think that that'd be an opportune time to bring Elaine back into things. But yeah, I think eventually we'll have like a full Kun family arc, but it'll be like late in the series, like once they're almost to the top, floor 100 something, when they're close to the top and they're already about to be rankers, so they're kind of ranker level. And once they're up there, we'll see like Kun and all the problems he has with his father and stuff. It'd be an arc like that. So all of that later on, but I'd like to see an arc kind of soonish that, even if it's not the big finale arc to that storyline, I'd like to see an arc that somehow involves that whole Lilial, Shilial, Maria, Machete angle. I'd like to see that before the Madarako arc even. Like, right now we have set up for the Madarako storyline, for the Princess storyline, for a storyline involving the Mad Dogs with Elliot and Angel and whatever happened with them in Chang and Quattro. So we have a storyline that's set up there as well. So, yeah, I think we'll save most of the important princess stuff, like, of course, the key, the 13 months, all of that will be way, way, way later, very late in the story, but I'd at least like to get back into the Lilial Shilial story next. But that's just my personal preference. Ilala211 said, I ship Warrior and Kun. It would be a highly dysfunctional relationship, but it would be amazing to read. And I just have to throw this in here again, because I know I've said it before, but best ship is Waryun and Sachi, because together they have two eyes. Alone, they only have one. Together, they have a set of eyes. So, Waryun and Sachi, best ship ever. Alala211 also said, I don't know why, but I think Rachel might end up with the soul-stirring ladle, or she will at least try to get her hands on it. And this is actually set up pretty well. I think this could very well happen, because I think Siyu actually set it up. We see that Rachel heard that explanation from Waryun. She was listening in. But now Dali has left her to fight them, so now Rachel can just go off to where Desai is and get it while Dali and Kun's group are fighting amongst themselves. So yeah, it's kind of set up. Or maybe she even runs into Sachi and Ai on the way there, and we have some face-off confrontation there. Of course, do I think Rachel can handle Sachi? Not really, but we'll see how things go. And yeah, that's actually it. That's actually it for Tower of God this week. Hope you enjoyed. Next up, we got Boku no Hero Academia comments. Actually, only two of them, actually. First up, Anime Watcher said, man, I forgot how much these chapters changed my view of the series. Before this, Boku no Hero Academia was like mid-tier for me in Shonen Jump, and now it's like high-tier with the likes of One Piece. The chapter featuring Twice reminds me very much of this American web novel I'm still trying to, called Worm. Search up Parahumans, it's easy to search. It takes the quirks of Boku no Hero Academia, the social society regarding heroes of One Punch Man, and puts the concepts into the hand of someone who writes similarly to Yorubuchi Gen, and you have something pretty amazing to read. At this point in the manga, I'm glad that we don't need to rush the plot for the characters to defeat Shigaraki. Right now it's a societal problem with trying to match the quality of All Might with the quantity of the new up-and-coming heroes. So yeah, Bakugo ended up my favorite character. Now the claim that Bakugo is just another Sasuke character can be burned and buried and left there 7 feet underground. By the way, congrats on getting past the Japanese releases. There's not much to go on from here, but I'm sure you'll find plenty to like so far. To me, Boku no Hero Academia is one of my absolute favorite series already, and I've again said it before that I attribute most of my love for it to the great setting, the universe, the world building. I think that just the idea of quirks, the way society is set up, that to me is the biggest draw for Boku no Hero Academia. So yeah, that's what I attribute most of the appeal to for me. And I'll check out what you mentioned eventually. And I agree too about the story writing. I don't think we need to rush to Shigaraki or anything. I don't want to rush to any big confrontations right now. I think slow character growth and world building really suit Boku no Hero Academia, its style, its story. I think it suits it more than like big events and fast-paced main story development. Sorry, hiccup. So yeah, I would prefer slow character growth and world building. I think that is Boku no Hero Academia's strong suit from what we've seen so far. Deshaun gambles that I'm looking forward to the Deku versus Shinso fight in the anime. I have a few theories about Shinso's quirk. I think he has the power to erase memories, if not something to do with manipulating people's minds. I didn't read the manga, so I don't know, but we'll see. Not going to spoil it, of course, having read the manga. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the anime does all of these fights, because, man, I think it could do it very well. And I hope we get to see all of them happen, because I hate when anime take tournament arcs and stuff like that, and they're just like, oh, this person beat that person, and they don't really explain it and show it. They just tell us it happened. I get really disappointed at that. So I hope we get to see all of them happen. And that's, again, actually it for Boku no Hero Academia this week. And now the largest section this week by quite a margin, Magical Girl Raising Project. Now it's interesting because I got like 5 pages of comments and notes I took, and this section is like 2 pages of those 5. But yeah, let's talk about this. There were just some general things that I saw a lot, or I talked about and don't really pertain too much to specific comments. A lot of people were hyping Wheelchair Girl and Tiger Girl. And Tiger Girl to me looked like one of the most just normal characters. But man, no, a lot of people were hyping those two. Also, I made my list of least to most favorite just on first impression of seeing the design. And after we finish reading Restart, I'll be doing like I did for the first arc and making a top 16 after the after everything. See what happens. To just see how that changes things, how I like the character, is all that. Also, something else that I talked about is talking about Wheelchair Girl. We need more Katawa Shoujo in anime and manga. Katawa Shoujo are great, and there need to be more of them. And if you don't know what that means, I guess it's like the different like Tsundere, Miko, and Nadeshiko, all those different things. Katawa Shoujo is, because I don't know of a better word for that. There's no real slang term other than that. Katawa Shoujo literally means disability girl. And, yes, please. So yeah. Yeah. And of course there's the, web novel, or I guess it's technically a visual novel, of the same name, and, it's great. If you guys have not read Katawa Shoujo, you should read it, or play through it, read it, whatever. Because it's great. It's friggin' amazing. Rin, best girl. Kind of tied with Hanako. Hanako also best girl. But they are great. They are very, very wonderful. So yeah, Maverick Alpha's up next, saying, I'm curious who you think is most likely to die first. I usually mentally prepare myself whenever I read a new arc and see characters like these. I go, oh, I think she's going to be my favorite, and prepare myself because they might die in the first few chapters. I don't even predict these based on story likelihood since I haven't read it yet at that time. I just have this weird feeling that all my favorite ones will die first. And Andrew Zapita said, the first rule of Magical Girl Raising Project, don't get attached to a character unless it's Snow White or Ripple, because they're most likely to die. And I think I don't really know the characters at all, really. I only even know like a couple of their names after the first chapter, so maybe after the second chapter, if by then we're introduced to all the characters and all, I will make my prediction of who I think will die, who I think will be good or evil. I'll make those sort of predictions and stuff like I did for the first arc after the first episode or two. Also, just off the top of my head, people I think would be likely to die first just from the absolutely nothing I know so far of just from, like, yeah, absolutely nothing, just the designs. Um, uh, I think Noko-chan's going to be a little bit protected by Daisy, so maybe not. I think she could still die, just maybe not very early. The one that I keep thinking of is Chipmunk Girl, just because I'm like, okay, just cute, sweet-looking lolly, quick and easy death. It's going to be one of those to just hit you with, like they did in Emerine. Cute design, cute lolly, whatever. Bam, just go ahead and kill her off. So yeah, I think Chipmunk Girl stands a chance of being the first to die. Gina Psycho maybe. Just because Gina Psycho, again, is one of those Top Speed-esque characters that's, again, just too positive, too happy, too outgoing, and you're like, she's too positive, too happy, she's definitely getting crushed. So yeah, I could see that as well. Those two are, I guess, my guesses, maybe. It's hard to say, though, given that we've only been introduced to half the cast thus far, and even then we don't know all of their names. Or at least I don't, having only read one chapter. Continuing on, Deshaun Gamble said, I was about to play Persona 4 Golden, and then Haku uploaded part 1 of Restart, and I was like, fuck it, Restart is here. Also, Daisy Beam. But I responded Por qué no las dos, because let me tell you guys, I was editing my Boku no Hero Academia read-through at the time, but I've been playing Pokemon Moon while I've been editing and stuff, just editing long videos where it's just, basically the editing is 1 hour of me just listening through it and picking out any long pauses or anything like that. So I've been playing Pokemon Moon while doing that, getting back into it, because whenever I finish Sun and Moon, I plan on making some sort of discussion, review kind of video for them. So, yeah, whenever I finish Moon, because I've already finished Sun, I'll do that video. Also, and Andrew Zavita brought up me speaking and, or me commenting in Spanish and stuff, saying Por qué no las dos. But, for me, like, I wanted to bring this up because if any of you do speak Spanish and don't really speak English as your first language, I think I'm okay enough with Spanish that I could answer you in the comments in that if you like. If I would, of course, prefer English because I can actually speak it. But I actually think I'm okay enough with Spanish to the point of, if it's something where somebody needs me to respond in Spanish, or prefers it, I think I maybe can. But my speech would be a little bit broken and not perfect, I could guarantee you. But Por qué no las dos for me is kind of a phrase that I picked it up. Tell me if any of you guys have seen this taco commercial. I think it's like, I don't remember the brand or anything, but it's this taco commercial where like these parents are arguing because like the mom wants soft tacos, the dad wants hard tacos, I don't know, something like that, and then the little girl's in the middle and she's like, Por qué no las dos? And then they all start partying with tacos everywhere. So I just picked that up. So like, I'm sure friends and family in the past have gotten tired of me saying it or stuff, but whenever somebody's like, choose between this or this, like so many times I'm just, Por qué no las dos? Why don't we do both? Or why not both? But yeah, so that's just like a joke phrase whenever choosing between two things. Por qué no las dos? Just do both. Then Anime Lover 22 said, do you think Snow White will appear in this arc, and who do you think will be the rest of the team? Snow White already has appeared lol. But if you mean her appearing to the actual like characters that we're focusing on, yes, I do believe Snow White will appear this arc, because I even said this last arc, that I thought that another test like this would happen, and then at the end Snow White would come in to save whoever was left. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're getting worn down, people are dying, and then when there's like, I don't know, 2 to 5 characters left somewhere in there, 2 to 6 maybe even, characters left, and they're just like, man, we don't want to die like everybody else did, but they get faced with this really hopeless situation. Bam, Snow White comes in, saves their life. Of course, don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, because don't spoil me, bro. Don't spoil me, bro. But, yeah, that's been my kind of prediction, that Snow White's just going to come in and save whoever's left. Also, I don't know about teams. I guess the 4 that we've seen together, and the other 4 we've seen together are gonna be together, maybe? Really, though, the only thing I care about right now, Weebu Miko, Dear Centaur, and Living Doll better all be good girls. They better all be good people. I care about them being good people, and I care about them staying alive. You 3 be good, you 3 stay alive. That is all I need to happen. Though I almost don't see Living Doll surviving just because her design makes for such a cool death. Like, she could get broken apart and stuff because she's a doll and stuff. So yeah, I want her to survive and everything, but I feel like the author would not take the would not make a doll girl without the thought crossing his mind. I could give her a pretty cool death. So don't screw me here, author. Please don't kill her. Deshaun Gamble said, I'm sure you already know this, but Snow White post Arc 1 is greater than Snow White on Arc 1. Also, Snow White X Fire Extinguisher Kun is best ship. And then he put, oh dear girl, wear longer skirts so we can see your deer crotch. The best quote from Haku. Also, Geno Psycho is my otaku waifu. Wow, that was hard to say. So Haku, who do you think is going to be the main character, or who do you think is the main character in this arc? Snow White was very, very violent with Fire Extinguisher Kun. Too violent. What are you doing, Snow White? Also, dear girl, possibly favorite, possibly top waifu for me right now. But Living Doll and Weed Miko also very, very much in the running there. I would argue that the main character of this story is Pechka. At least in the Snow White sort of sense. Like last arc had both Snow White and Ripple as main characters, this kind of has Daisy and Pechka both as main characters, but I would argue Pechka is the Snow White style main character. The main character. I think Daisy might have a role that's similar to Ripple, or similar to maybe a more, if Lapicelle had lived longer, more to a Lapicelle type of role. I think Daisy might have a role like that, but I think Pechka's the one who has the setup to face some development, to face some change. Like, there was change in Ripple, but Ripple was already pretty established and just became more of a grizzled veteran. Daisy kind of has that kind of setup. She's already experienced. She already knows what she's doing. And whether she survives or not, her development is just going through this from that experience. But Pechka's at a place where she's a coward, she's no good at fighting. Pechka has all the room to grow from nothing and become something, so I would argue that Pechka's the main character. Andrew Zapita said, lol, that moment you realize that the Walpurgisnacht is an actual doll. And yep, that's why I put her high on my list of character designs. Doll girls, great, way. The only other one I've ever seen is Bisque from the Monmusu game. Rest in peace, Monmusu game. I think Rose and Maiden has doll girls, but I haven't watched it. I want to eventually, I guess. And they asked, there's a doll girl in Monster Musume, how'd I never see that? And yet, in the game, there is Bisque and actually Belle. There was the second one, and Bisque was one of my absolute favorites in the game. I should really, now that the game is closed and it's over, rest in peace, I should do another Top Girls video from that, just to see how they were at the very end, what my least to most favorite were. But, yeah, doll girls, click. Maverick Alpha said, for extra entertainment, whenever Weeb Priestess Girl speaks in italics, she's actually speaking English in the novel, not Japanese. And whenever she speaks bolded, she's badly intonating the Japanese. It was the only way I could communicate in that communicate that into translation. And thank you for clearing that up. I'll read it like that from now on, because I actually noticed I didn't notice the italics, I noticed the emboldened words, and when I saw them, I read them like I put the emphasis on them, even if that wasn't right in the sentence, and I gave them weird intonation. So, yeah, I'll read it like you said from now on, though, so that, again, for the extra entertainment. And then, actually, this is the last comment. Wow, that was pretty quick. But, yeah, last comment. Andrea Zapita said, passbooks are more like a bank book, as stated in another translation. And I'm talking about when Daisy and Noko were talking before. And I was wondering that because I was wondering if it was a clue for Noko-chan's age, because Noko-chan said that she thought of the name and became a magical girl when she was only 4 years old. But if she has a bank book, that clues us in that she's got to be at least high school age or older, I would think. So that means that she's actually kind of a veteran. She's been a magical girl for quite a long time. So I don't know if that makes me trust her more with her, I don't know if that makes me trust her more or trust her less because of the way that the way that Noko-chan was, like, not confident and not... I mean, there are probably very few magical girls who can be like Daisy. Daisy is an OP beast. But I don't know if this makes me trust Noko-chan more or less, knowing that she's got to be relatively old now. She has to be pretty experienced, in my opinion. But I guess that's it. Yeah, so either way, I was expecting to have more to talk about. Either way, loving Magical Girl Raising Project, and I will have the next video of that up on Tuesday as usual, probably, hopefully. I'm going to have to record it kind of early, probably, but I'm just going to have to... I'll have to record it, and then I'll have to be like, I really want to post this, and then hold on to it until Tuesday. Yeah, trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say, but I guess there isn't, so like if you did like the video. If there's anything else I want to say, we can just talk about it in the comments. Like if you did like the video, comment down there, tell me what you thought of everything I said here, anything else you want to talk about. Also, I forgot to comment the timestamps last week. Nobody even called me out for it. So, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Even though it's kind of late to do it now, I'm planning to do that after I record this at some point. Anything else? Oh yeah, subscribe if you want, whatever. Follow on Twitter if you want as well, whatever. Have some fun there, we can talk there as well. And I'll try to get working on that Discord. Try to. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.